particular its role in the region of Europe and Central Asia?
Sure. In fact, the IRE was created in 1948 to partner with the United Nations to help rebuild war-torn Europe. That was its initial mission, to be a partner with the United Nations. But today we are a global organization, but we still have a strong focus on Europe and moreover Eurasia. We really believe, like the IRF does, that road transport drives prosperity, progress, and ultimately peace. And so we do everything within our power to facilitate trade, to facilitate tourism by road transport, because we know by doing this we will drive development, and this will just bring good for all.
Fantastic. So the theme of our first IRFECA Congress is indeed corridors for shared prosperity. What do you consider the main challenges for achieving seamless transport corridors in this region?
Yeah, the corridors exist. We've done a number of caravans that demonstrate that we can run along these corridors. The real problem we're facing, more than infrastructure, although we appreciate every millimeter of infrastructure that's built, we need some of the auxiliary infrastructure, that is the parking areas, so that our drivers can be secure, that they can rest, that they can refuel, they can fix their vehicles. But our biggest problem is when we get to borders. So in other words, we're building roads that get us very quickly along the highway, but then when we get to the border, they get stuck. And we've seen that total transport time is some 57% of the time in this region is spent at borders. 38% of cost is associated with what we call in the region bakshish, because of these illicit payments, because we're creating an environment that is conducive to corruption at these borders because of all the waiting times. So the biggest challenge is to get governments to recognize that, one, of course, we need infrastructure. We need great infrastructure, and this is where the IRF helps. But we also then need to facilitate trade, make sure that the trucks, the buses, the coaches can get through those borders to drive trade, to drive tourism.
You're unquestionably a strong actor in the region. How do you feel IRF could complement your role, both in Europe and Central Asia, as well as throughout the world?
Well, actually, the IRF is a sister organization of the IRU. We have the same mission. And I think what we have to get better at is basically espousing each other's arguments. We need to get better at saying we need better infrastructure, and the IRF needs to get better at saying when we build infrastructure, let's make sure that we first and foremost have training so that we have safe users of that infrastructure, and secondly, that we facilitate trade and tourism by making sure the procedures are in place. By doing that, it's win-win for all.